Call to the real capital. Dear Brian, Sean, Rory, Ella, Michael, Donna, David, and Maya, the Corkonian review team. They say that legends aren't simply born. They are recognized by the company they keep and the city they protect. It is our distinct honor to officially welcome you as the honorary lifelong legends of the Corkman Project. This isn't just an invitation. It's a recognition of your status as the keepers of the Rebel Pulse. You might ask, what is Corkman really? He is more than just a figure of cork and a cape. He is Cork's conscience, rendered in caricature. He exists to react, to reflect, and to provide that sharp, local wit that defines us. But being a hero comes with a code. Corkman never punches down, never mocks tragedy, and always knows that the best laugh is the one shared with the city, not at its expense. Behind the laughter lies a complex architecture we used to call the human-in-the-loop system. But human felt a bit too clinical for the real capital. From this day forward, we are officially renaming this operational heart to Legends in the Loop. It is the bridge between the raw potential of technology and the refined instinct of the Corkonian soul. Why do we need legends? Because while an AI can calculate the height of Patrick's Hill, or the capacity of Perk Ui Chawim, it can never be Cork. It lacks the gut feeling of a Munster final, or the precise tilt of a decent hat. Only those who have walked these hills can provide the cultural calibration needed to ensure Corkman stays true to his roots. This team, Brian, Sean, Rory, Ella, Michael, Donna, David, and Maya, is the intergenerational soul of this system. From the wisdom of the veterans to the sharp energy of the new guard, you represent the full spectrum of Cork's identity. You are the filters through which the digital meets the real, ensuring that every word Corkman speaks rings with the clarity of the Shandon bells. Your role is one of instinct work. We need you to act as guardians, using your natural-born Corkonian radar to ensure every piece of content is respectful, sharp, and reflects our true spirit. You are the cultural calibrators who decide if a joke is pure Cork, or if it's missing that vital spark of rebel magic. To maintain the high ground, we follow the standard. It is simple but absolute. Corkman never depicts tragedy, never exploits grief, and never targets individuals unfairly. In a world of digital noise, restraint is our greatest strength. If a concept doesn't elevate the city's dignity, it doesn't leave the loop. You are the ones who hold the line. By owning your place as legends in the loop, you aren't just checking boxes. You are defining an identity. In this project, community oversight isn't just a process, it's who we are. Humans must always validate the culture that AI proposes. You are the ultimate authority on what it means to be a rebel in the digital age. We look toward the long view. One day, the work you calibrate will sit in galleries, libraries, and museums as a piece of digital folklore, a record of how Cork navigated the future without losing its past. You are helping to write a book that will be read by generations of Corkonians yet to come. So, welcome to the team. You are now the official custodians of Cork's dignity and its most colourful defenders. Corkman is a hero of the people, but he cannot truly exist without the legends who guide him. Thank you for keeping us real. Welcome to the Loop. In the spirited heart of Cork City, where the Shandon bells ring out over the River Lee, lived a true legend named David. David wasn't just any neighbour. He was a Hall of Fame premium member of the Corkman Project. Along with his young friend Maya, he held a very special job. They were the humans in the loop, the guardians who made sure the city's digital stories were perfect. Being a human in the loop meant David was a vital part of the whole project. Whenever the advanced AI system created a new image of the legendary Corkman, it didn't just go out into the world. It had to pass through David first. He sat in his favorite armchair, his smartphone glowing with the weight of a brand new mission from the team. The screen showed a series of important questions that only a Cork legend could answer. Does Corkman look brave enough? Is the English market drawn correctly? David tapped his chin, thinking carefully. He was the teacher, and the computer system was his student. If something looked wonky, David would catch it, ensuring the city's soul was captured perfectly. David tapped the approve button with a satisfied nod. Suddenly, a familiar whir-click-clack echoed through the hallway. It's coming, Maya. David called out. Because David gave the thumbs up, the system sent the image directly to their home printer. A fresh, crisp coloring page began to slide out, ready for the next stage of the journey. Maya dived into action. This was his favorite part of the loop. He was the chief artistic officer of the household. He spread his vast collection of markers and crayons across the kitchen table. To Maya, a coloring page wasn't just a drawing. It was a map of his city that needed the perfect shades of rebel red and river blue. As Maya colored, he checked every detail with a keen eye. He made sure Corkman's Cape was vibrant, and that the cobblestones of the city streets looked just right. "The system did a good job today, David," he whispered, carefully shading the edges of the Shandon steeple. His job was to see if the image was fun to play with, and if it captured the magic of Cork. Once the masterpiece was finished, Maya held it up for a final inspection. "I give this one 5 stars," he declared, pointing to a row of stars he had drawn at the bottom. David leaned over his shoulder, admiring the boy's handiwork. Together, they had transformed a digital idea into a beautiful piece of physical art. Now it was time for the final step. David took out his mobile phone again to complete the loop. He took a clear photo of Maya's colored page and his 5-star rating. He typed in their combined feedback, explaining why the design worked so well. With one final click, their review was sent back to the project headquarters. "Mission accomplished," David said, tucking his phone away. By being part of the loop, they were helping children all over the world see the best version of Cork. Maya felt proud, knowing his colors would help the system learn what makes people happy. They were a team, a legend and a young artist, building the future together. To celebrate a successful day of work, David reached for 2 wooden instruments, leaning against the wall. He handed one to Maya. They sat together, and soon the rhythmic, earthy beat of the bodhrán filled the house. Tap to tap, they played a song for the city, for the project, and for the joy of working together in Cork City. In the heart of Cork City, where the River Lee flows under ancient stone bridges, lived Sean and his 2 children, Rory and Ella. Their home was often filled with the hum of a computer and the excitement of a very special mission. They weren't just a family, they were humans in the loop, a vital team helping to build the world of Corkman and Corkwoman through the power of AI. "All right, team," Sean said, tapping the screen to open the Brehon AI portal. "The project has sent us new updates. Our job is to teach the computer what makes Cork truly Cork." Ella hopped onto the sofa, her eyes wide. They were reviewing the latest designs for a set of physical playing cards. Because they were members of the project, they got to see the art before anyone else in the world. Sean explained the big secret of their work. "The AI is like a very fast student that has read every book but has never walked our streets," he whispered. "It tries its best, but it needs us, the humans in the loop, to guide it. Without us, it might get the soul of the city wrong." Rory and Ella nodded. They were the teachers, and the machine was learning from them. The first image popped up, a playing card featuring Corkman. He was wearing a flat cap and holding a giant drisheen like a superhero gadget. Rory burst into fits of giggles. "Look at his boots. They're way too shiny for a rainy day in Blackpool," he laughed. The AI had made him a bit too polished, but Rory loved how funny the character looked. Next came the Corkwoman card. She was standing tall atop Patrick's Hill, her cape fluttering in the wind as she looked out over the city. Ella's eyes sparkled. "She's so brave," Ella whispered. "She looks like she could protect the whole Lee Valley from a giant storm." The AI had captured her strength perfectly, and Ella gave it a big thumbs up on the feedback bar. But the work wasn't just about fun, it was about accuracy. As they scrolled, Rory noticed something strange on a background card. "Wait," he shouted. I put a palm tree in the middle of the English market." Ella leaned in, squinting, "And that fishmonger has 6 fingers." They had found a glitch in the logic. They were the safeguard against the uncanny mistakes of the machine. Sean took the digital stylus. "Good catch, team," he said. While the kids found the errors, Sean had the final say on whether the designs were appropriate and safe for the project. He added a note explaining why a palm tree didn't belong in a traditional Cork market. He was the bridge between the kids' sharp eyes and the project's high standards. With a final click, they submitted their reviews. A shower of digital confetti exploded on the screen. "You've earned 500 Shandon credits," the app announced. This was the best part of being in the loop. By helping the AI learn, they earned rewards they could exchange for real, physical treasures from the membership portal. They opened the membership portal shop. "Look," Rory pointed. "We have enough credits for the new Legends of Cork comic book." Ella scrolled down further. "And the physical card pack. The ones we just helped fix." They carefully selected their rewards, knowing that soon the very cards they reviewed would arrive at their front door. A few days later, a package arrived. Inside were the glossy playing cards and a brand new book. Sean watched as Rory laughed at the Corkman card, and Ella admired the brave Corkwoman. They had worked together as a team, making sure the digital world stayed true to the real capital. The human in the loop was the most important part of the story. In the valley of the River Lee, where the fog rolls over the quays and the Shandon bells chime the hour, lived Michael. To the people of Cork, Michael was a teacher, a neighbour, and a man who knew every shortcut from Blackpool to the Lough. He was a local legend not because he shouted, but because he listened. Michael understood that a city is more than its bricks and mortar. It is the spirit of the people who walk its streets. Michael's expertise wasn't just in history or lore, it was in the nuance of the human experience. This was why Brehon AI Solutions had recruited him for the Corkman project. Inside an office that blended old limestone walls with modern glass, Michael sat before a glowing workstation. A sharp chime echoed through the room, a notification for a new AI update that required his specialized attention. The Corkman project was ambitious, an AI designed to represent and understand the cultural fabric of the city. But even the most advanced algorithms can lose their way. Michael wasn't there to just watch. He was the human in the loop. He was the teacher, and the machine was his student. His role was to ensure that the logic of the code never overrode the wisdom of the community. The task appeared on his screen. The AI had generated a series of images intended to represent a Sunday morning in Cork. Michael leaned in, his eyes narrowing. At first glance, the images were beautiful, perfectly rendered cathedrals and sun-dappled streets. But Michael saw what the machine could not. He saw the subtle errors that only a true Corkonian would notice. This was the heart of the human-in-the-loop concept. The AI could process millions of data points in a second, but it lacked the feel. It didn't know that the light hits the north side differently in September, or that a certain street corner should never be empty at noon. Michael's judgment was the final safeguard, a bridge between cold data and lived reality. Michael opened the protocol manual on his second screen. He wasn't working on a whim. He was a professional following a rigorous set of standards. He began to evaluate the images based on established benchmarks of cultural accuracy and appropriateness. He moved through the files with the steady hand of an expert, marking where the AI had succeeded and where it had stumbled into uncanny territory. He reached the final image. It was a depiction of a local festival, but the AI had placed the wrong banners on the wrong poles, a mistake that would seem trivial to an outsider but jarring to a local. Michael tapped a sequence of keys, entering his professional justification. He clicked the human override button, sending the data back for refinement. The loop was closed. His shift ended as the sun began to dip behind the hills of Sunday's Well. Michael stepped out of the Brehon AI building, the cool evening air a welcome contrast to the hum of the servers. He walked down the Grand Parade, his mind shifting from the digital world back to the physical one. He was no longer the human in the loop. He was just Michael, headed for home. He stopped at the English market to pick up some dinner. Tadej, a fishmonger who had occupied the same stall for 30 years, waved him over. "Hard day at the works, Michael?" Tadej asked, wrapping a fresh fillet in paper. Michael smiled, leaning against the counter. They talked about the football scores and the weather, the small, vital threads that held the city together. As Michael walked the final stretch toward his front door, he looked back at the city lights. He knew that tomorrow, the AI would be a little bit smarter, a little bit more Cork, because of his work. The technology was powerful, but it would always need the human touch. Michael went inside, content in his role as the guardian of the real in a digital age.